And welcome back, folks, to more Snatcher. Last time we played, we killed the Snatcher. And we're now in Snatcher Hospital. We gotta figure out where all the Snatchers are and defeat them forever. That's our job. So we went in door number 1. Defeated the Snatcher. Now we're gonna go to door number 2. Hey there, Rusty. We're in room number 2. Some kind of testing equipment is running. That's a real nasty sound. Gets on my nerves. This room seems to be the real biotech research lab. Looks like Frankenstein could show up at any minute. Around the ceiling, it's well equipped. Micro manipulators, various types of lasers, the microsurgery system. Why do you only say hi to Rusty? Well, he said, hey guys. He's the only one who said hey. There are a number of jars for formaldehyde and other chemicals. There are a number of machines for biotech experiments. It seems they are quite serious about their work. Oh, shoot. Samples mutated cells and organs with tumors. I don't want to look at this stuff. The room is illuminated with red light. It makes for a very disquieting atmosphere. What are they doing here? What's with all the samples? This looks like a lot more than a place to treat skin cancer. Are they making Snatchers here? Argon lasers, argon dye lasers. It's a device for selectively destroying certain types of cancer cells. They even got the latest gene cannon. You didn't give my points back. Oh, you wasted those. Everything is quite neatly organized. There are samples here of monoclonal antibodies. What in the world is that? Antibodies which are said to have beneficial effects on cancerous melanomas. This is definitely their maintenance hospital. It's quite an impressive array of equipment. Some university hospitals are not stocked this well. NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance, microscopes, STMs, scanning tunnel microscopes, high voltage electron microscopes, electron beam holography cameras, street cameras. Gillian, the Snatchers obviously possess much greater intelligence than we have previously given them credit for. Nevertheless, their technology seems somewhat dated. Dated? What do you mean by that? Equipment and techniques they are using, most of these methods were abandoned years ago. This is well behind the current level of technology in the most developed countries. It's a rough approximation, but I would say that they are 20 to 30 years behind the times. What's more, judging from the imbalance of the research material here, it appears to be primarily the work of one individual. The retro scientists. You're telling me that all this work on the Snatcher's artificial skin is being carried out by one person, not some government institution? The design of this lab itself is in violation of a number of biohazard prevention safety codes. While a few safety cabinets have been installed, there's no autoclave or gas sterilizer anywhere. This is quite far from P4 level. I seriously doubt that this lab was set up by a government or any other large organization. That skeleton back there was probably waiting to get his skin here, eh? You think this place is only used for skin treatment? Gillian, be more quiet, they'll hear us. What a smell! It smells like rotting fish or something. That's the smell of decomposing protein. So that's the smell of cancerous skin cells, like Gibson wrote about, eh? Better save. All right, well, perhaps they're culturing skin cells? It's all rather grotesque. Okay, well, I feel sick. Now we're just down to room number 3. If there was one in the operating room, there's bound to be others. They could be hiding anywhere around here. I don't know, for a supposed hideout, there aren't very many of them. Quiet, Gillian. They'll hear us if we make too much noise. There's only 2 buttons. Maybe it can be opened using those 2 buttons. 1 and 2 at the same time.
All right, let's try pushing both buttons simultaneously.
The 2 buttons are on opposite panels, so there's no way one person can push them both alone. But if 2 of us work together, it might do it.
That's it, Gillian. It makes perfect sense. It's the same system they used to use in nuclear missile silos in the late 20th century. Eliminates the risk of one man going nuts and acting alone.
Well, it's hard to be sure, but let's give it a try anyway. I've got button 1. Random, you push number 2. You ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Come on!
What?
You did it! Door number 3 opened.
With safety measures like that, they must have had a good reason for wanting to keep it closed.
All right, let's go. Door number 3. Oh!
Good God!
I read 4 human skeletons in this room.
It's their morgue.
Perhaps victims of the Snatchers?
Well, it doesn't look like whoever put them here was too worried about making sure they would rest in peace.
No, it doesn't. These have got to be their victims.
This is probably where they hide the bodies of the originals they snatch from places like Outer Heaven.
They probably picked Outer Heaven because it gets a lot of VIP traffic. Plus, during masquerade time, they could work the place and still keep their identities secret.
Yeah, and the guy who set up the link between them and Outer Heaven was Freddy, that taxi driver. They must have gone after him not because of who he was, but what he did. After all, with a taxi, there's plenty of chances to milk your customers for information. That's probably how they learned about Outer Heaven and Plato's Cavern.
I've been wondering what they had done with the bodies.
Want to hide a book? What better place than the library? Need to hide a body? How about the morgue?
And for them, keeping the bodies hidden is crucial. I mean, if somebody who's supposed to be dead is out walking the streets, it wouldn't be too hard to figure out that something screwy is going on.
That means that if we can figure out who these bodies were, then we've just nailed 4 snatchers.
Smell. What a horrible smell. It appears to have been a proper morgue at one time, but now it's being used as little more than a closet. There's a ventilation duct on one side of the room. One of the bodies is still decomposing. The other 3 are little more than skeletons. There's a cover on the duct, but it has been weakened by oxidation. There's few droppings on the floor from mice who were no doubt feeding on the bodies. A number of different insect larvae have infested the body. It hasn't been well preserved, to say the least. Definitely a human body. Insects infesting a decomposing body can be divided into 8 large groups. Each of those groups works on the body for roughly 15 days, making 8 times 15 day or 4-month cycle. As such, an analysis of the variety, number, and size of the organisms on the body allows a rather accurate estimation of which group is currently present. In other words, you can figure out how long the victim's been dead without analyzing the body itself, right? On this particular body, flies have laid eggs, and the maggots have grown into adult flies. It's been less than 30 days since death. As for the other 3 bodies, 1 full cycle has been completed, so at least 4 months have passed. Can you determine the cause of death? The bodies are severely damaged. Such a determination would require more extensive facilities than are available here. What about the identity of the victims? Hair, clothing, even teeth. Anything that could be used to make an identification is gone. Damn snatchers. They were careful to make sure their identities didn't get out. If we had some teeth, we might be able to make an ID. What about these teeth here? They've been deliberately misaligned to prevent identification, and we'll never get to ID them. There is a way. How? We can perform a simulated reconstruction. Fortunately, the skulls of the victims are still intact. Reconstruction, eh? Good idea. Great idea.
Now performing simulated reconstruction of the head and facial features of each of the 4 victims. Commencing with victim number 1. Now performing craniometric analysis. X-ray, sagittal X-ray, magnetic resonance imaging, and positron CT data gathered. Complete cranial data now being compiled. Craniometric analysis complete. Now commencing reconstruction. First, victim's age. Estimate based on 1. Presence or absence of cranial fontanelles and chroma of epicranial sutures. 2. Area of facial region and cranium. 3. Height of upper and lower jaw and development of alveolar part. And 4. Location of cranial center of gravity. Next, victim's sex. Estimate based on 1. Overall size of cranium. 2. Parietal bone angle. And 3. Development of splachocranium. Lastly, victim's race. Estimate based on 1. Overall cranial configuration. 2. Volume of intercranial cavity. And 3. Mass of the skull. Now commencing soft feature reconstruction based on average results of above analysis.
Can we get a spinning skull emote?
Initial phase completed. Margin of error on estimate of victim's race 10% based on use of average values. Now adding postulated hair and eye features. Reconstruction of head of first victim completed.
It's Freddie Nielsen.
Moving on to second victim. Now commencing reconstruction of features of victim number 2. Now starting craniometric analysis. Complete cranial data now being compiled using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction. Craniometric analysis complete. Now commencing reconstruction using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction.
This cranial ridge indicates it was a bottom feeder in society, likely an influencer or Twitch streamer.
Victim's race 10%.
He's not wrong.
Average values. Now adding postulated hair and eye features. Reconstruction of head of second victim completed.
That's Lisa Nielsen.
That was a lot faster.
Moving on to third victim. Now commencing reconstruction of features of victim number 3. Now starting craniometric analysis. Complete cranial data now being compiled using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction. Craniometric analysis complete. Now commencing reconstruction using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction. Reconstructing. Initial phase completed. Margin of error on estimate of victim's race 10% based on use of average values. Now adding postulated hair and eye features. Reconstruction of head of third victim completed.
Who in the world is that?
That's the director of Queen's Hospital, Shin Fui, what's his face,
Chin Shu O Gillian. Moving on to last victim. Now commencing reconstruction of features of victim number 4.
This one's the most recent. It's still decomposing.
Now starting craniometric analysis. Complete cranial data now being compiled using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction. Craniometric analysis complete. Now commencing reconstruction using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction. Reconstructing. Initial phase completed. Margin of error on estimate of victim's race 10% based on use of average values. Now adding postulated hair and eye features. Reconstruction of head of final victim completed.
That's the boss.
It's the chief! What? The chief is a snatcher!
What?
Benson on the scrap of that patient record was Benson Cunningham.
Judging from the condition of the body, I would estimate that the snatching took place approximately 1 month ago.
So it was the chief who sabotaged our turbo cycle. And those matches we found in Harry's room, the chief must have put them there to try to set him up.
No doubt Harry figured it out and decided to leave that face-to-face message. Wait a minute. Didn't Mika say that Harry had left to go find the chief?
That's right. He was probably trying to track down some evidence on the chief.
Gillian, I'd say that this Harry has put himself in a pretty dangerous spot.
If it was the chief that sabotaged the turbo cycle, doesn't that mean that he already knows we're onto him?
Damn! Harry and Mika are in danger!
That's far enough, Junker. Your little investigation is over.
It's them!
Who? Snatchers?
Get them!
What? My gun? You've been snatched.
My arm! I can't reach my blaster! I'm hit in the leg!
Is that the best you can do, Junker?
Who's there? Jin Shuo, you scum!
It seems you still have some fight left in you. You two are finished, but our plans move forward. We are now entering Phase 2. And when we do, not only this city, but the entire world will be ours to command.
Phase 2? What are you talking about?
As you know, our operations have been hindered up to now by the flaws in our artificial skin. The skin's shortcomings have kept us away from ultraviolet rays, forcing us to do our work at night, underground, or in the winter. In the end, we had to construct a hospital like this, all because of the flaws in our artificial skin. This was the only difference between us and you humans. But now we have broken this barrier.
Huh?
We are on the verge of developing a perfect artificial skin. thanks to the cooperation of a new partner in our plan.
Perfect artificial skin? A new partner?
Once we have the new skin, nothing will be able to stop us. And with that, our plan moves to phase 2. Our little experiment in this city will end, and we'll move in force to take over the world.
Don't be so sure. You won't get out of the city that easy.
You humans are always so overconfident, so naive.
What are you talking about?
I'm sure you're aware that the Kyoto Summit, being held to decide how to handle the Snatcher problem, opens tomorrow.
Metal, is that right?
Yes, countries around the world are concerned about the Snatcher problem. It will be one of the main topics discussed at this year's summit.
That's right. Tomorrow, we attack the summit.
You must be crazy. The security there will be incredible. You won't even get close.
Must I explain everything to you, Junker? Aren't you even aware that a fellow Junker will be giving a special presentation at the summit?
The chief, Cunningham. So that's why you snatched him.
We've known that your chief would be speaking at the summit for over 3 months now.
Gillian, the summit is tomorrow. We have to hurry.
Listen, we have your chief. You Junkers are at our mercy, and so is this city. And tomorrow, we move on the world. Nothing can stop us now. We will finally achieve our long-awaited goal of global domination.
Who is this we you keep talking about?
We are an evolved life form, given life in the depths of the Kremlin by our creator, Modnar. We are a new race.
Modnar?
Modnar? The Kremlin? Those names are familiar, but...
Our goal is to snatch all of the world's leaders and then achieve total control of human thought and worldwide racial unification.
You're insane. Humanity won't be so easily dominated. You underestimate the strength of the human spirit.
I think not. In the same way as the Nazis, our
No.
strategy begins with the overpowering of the spirit of the people. We will strike at you humans' weakest point, the most primitive part of your psychological makeup, your suspiciousness and fear. By provoking suspicion and mistrust throughout the populace, we will destroy that fragile fabric which holds your society together, that of trust. Fear is you humans' weak point. It is the primitive part of your brains that binds you forever to your animal ancestors and makes you vulnerable. By stimulating that part of your atavistic instincts, our plan can succeed magnificently.
Gillian, at this rate they'll kill us all. You've got to get out alive. You're a junker.
Just what have you have in mind?
I've got a big fireworks show ready for him. Better that than get snatched.
What? You're gonna blow yourself up? No, we're better off fighting together.
Hey, it won't work. I'm hit in the thigh. Ow, oh, damn. A bounty hunter can't do anything with a leg wound like this. I might as well have been shot in the head.
There must be some way out of here.
Hey, I wasn't doing this job just for fun. I stayed ready for situations like this. I've always been prepared to go out with a bang.
It's December. A little late for fireworks.
So it'll be an off-season show.
No,
I mean, New Year's.
My belt's packed with TNT PX. You know, that really strong stuff they use in the mines on Mars. One push, and this whole hospital will go. No trouble at all. No time to sit around thinking, Junker boy. Go! What are you doing? Get your butt moving, you fool! Get out through this air shaft. I've got a powerful strobe on me. Its flash will screw up their sensors long enough for you to get out. Now, you with me? Fireworks are better from a distance anyway, Gillian.
Are you two finished chatting? Then I think it's time for you to die. We're quite busy, you know.
give the signal, break into the air shaft, and run. And don't forget your blaster.
Metal, stay with me.
Yes, sir.
Random.
Gillian! Doesn't look like I'm gonna have a chance to call in that debt you owe me.
Don't worry. I'll pay it back to the Snatchers with interest.
All right, go! Run, Gillian!
Oh!
Metal, are you okay?
Think.
Metal, something broken?
Okay, but it appears that language circuits have been damaged somewhat.
What happened?
Random blew himself up after getting us into this air shaft.
Random.
Gillian, that explosion should have taken all of Queen's Hospital with it.
The thick walls of this duct must have shielded us from enough of the blast. If it wasn't for Random, we wouldn't have made it. Oh, Random.
Gillian, we have no time for grief now. We must get back to Junker headquarters as quickly as possible. Harry and Mika are in danger.
You're right. And I have to keep my promise to Random. But first, we have to figure out how to get out of here.
I can't see a thing. What should we do?
It's a bit dark, so I'll try to save. Destroyed a hospital, but a shitty sheet metal protected you? Yeah. It was coated with anti-explosive. Well, let's try moving forward. There could be Snatchers waiting for us. Use extreme caution. How far does this thing go? Gillian, are you sure this thing has an exit? I can hear the sound of water flowing. We must be close to a way out of this thing. It's constructed quite well. There are signs that construction to reinforce it has been carried out. There's some sand spilled here. How did this get here? Iron particles, high quantities of phosphorus. This type of sand is particular to the M district in Neokobe. Around the old factory, right? What does that mean? The old factory. Any movement? Uh-oh. I'm getting partial readings. We get attacked in a narrow area like this. We've had it. Please pray for us. We gotta make it out of here. Gotta depend on my own eyes and ears. Probably a sewer or something nearby. Some kind of scratches here. This scratch was caused by the scraping of a very hard claw-like object of some kind. A Snatcher? Maybe they were using this as some kind of shortcut or back route. Was this vent connected to? I'm thinking the old factory where we started the game. It appears that a Snatcher was dragged through here. A human body would not cause such marks. Maybe that naked Snatcher we saw in the operating room? That's probably correct. An endostructure before the artificial skin was installed seems most likely. You can probably keep moving forward, but it's likely to be a dead end. Buried alive, eh? Great. Check real careful. There's got to be a way out somewhere. Both the right and left sides of the wall of the duct have scratches on them, as if something hard had bumped into them. How has Kojima gotten away with this for so many games? We'll never know. Reinforcing bars formed of level 4 hardness steel alloy have been installed. It's quite strong. And that's what saved us. I guess we should thank them. It seems this is not just a simple air duct. This thing has been used regularly, right? There's no reason why anyone would ever deliberately clean a duct like this. That's you! Uh-oh. Is it Snow 9? There is definitely Snow 9 present. Snow 9, huh? Is it okay to breathe it? It'll be safe at these concentrations. The farther we go, the higher the concentration. It must be coming from that direction. Quite unusual that the particular sand would be present here. It was no doubt brought here by someone. The lower surface is constructed of reinforced concrete. With the scratches and the presence of Snow 9, I'd say it's definite. I don't want to meet up with any of them in this tight space. Continuing forward. Thing just keeps on going. Uh-oh. Insectors! Use your blaster, not here! I remember Freeport getting hard stuck here for a while. I think he had problems with his controller though. No! I'm no longer reading any motion. They really built a lot of those things, don't they? Gillian, are you all right? Yeah, I'll live. Took 2 hits, though. Those in sectors must be the security for this area. Which means at the end of this duct, I'm not reading any more motion. Let's move on. I don't want to meet up with any more of those spiders. Look, a way out. We're saved, Gillian. Metal, don't let your guard down.
What in the world?
This is part of the tube liner, the city's long-abandoned subway system.
You mean Queen's Hospital and this were connected?
Yes, it would appear that the Snatchers were using this to move from place to place. This would provide them with the perfect way to move about while still avoiding the ultraviolet rays they hate so much. We should have realized this sooner. The city is crisscrossed by the tube liner's old lines, and since they are abandoned, the Snatchers could move undetected as well.
Aha! That's how those two we caught a glimpse of at the abandoned factory where Gibson was killed were able to disappear so quickly. They must have used this subway.
That would appear to be correct. The tube liner passes underneath that factory site as well. That would also explain why sand from the factory was in the air duct at the hospital.
So this is the trick they were using to stay out of the sun and avoid being seen while they moved around.
Now we know why it took so long to uncover them.
All right, let's follow the subway. We should be able to get out when we get to the nearest station.
How far did this bloody thing go? We're probably lost. I wonder where we are. You see what's up ahead? It appears that the tunnel continues for as far as I can see. Only sound is that of our own footsteps. Metal, how much farther do we have to go to reach the next station? Since I don't know our exact present location, I cannot give you an accurate figure. This part of the system didn't have very many stations, and we will probably have to walk quite a bit further. What part of the city is this? I believe we're probably underneath the MR district. Hey, Metal. Yes, Gillian. Nothing. I just wanted to make sure you're awake. You hear any trains approaching? What are you saying, Gillian? The tube liner system has been abandoned for years. Not picking up any unusual sounds. It's wrong.
Look, Metal, light!
Yes, but this doesn't look like a station.
There's a ladder.
Where do you suppose it leads, Gillian?
I don't have the slightest, but let's climb it and see.
All right, now climbing the ladder.
Now climbing the ladder.
We seem to have emerged into an odd place. Wait, this room.
It's Freddie Nielsen's bathroom. He was using this shaft from the bathtub to get down into the subway. So that's how he did that.
Ah, yes. As I recall, after you disposed of Lisa, he somehow entered the apartment without using the regular entrance.
Which he accomplished by using this secret passage into his bathtub.
The bathtub must be of a double construction. The bottom is actually a lid. When they wanted to hide the passage, all they needed to do was fill the tub. And to get in and out, they would just drain the water into another tank.
Jeez. Double bottom bathtubs? Abandoned subways? Snatchers really go out of their way to stay out of the sun.
Okay, Gillian, let's head outside.
All right, dude, I don't think we need to... Freddy's living room. Map of Moscow. Chin Shuo over at Queen's Hospital had a picture of St. Basil's Cathedral. The chief had a picture of the Red Square. How come everybody is such a big Moscow fan these days? What's going on here? Moscow seems to hold some clue to this whole thing, doesn't it? Moscow, did that guy say something about it? Before the explosion, didn't Qin Shuho say something about achieving what was meant to be 55 years ago? And the depths of the Kremlin? Now that you mention it, this map is from that area, from that era, isn't it? Moscow, 55 years ago. The key to understanding the Snatchers no doubt lies there. This has to have some meaning. I don't think they'd paste a 50-year-old map just for decoration. Large-scale map of Moscow. Careful you don't touch the tape lines. Tape, you mean the laser beam? Don't break the beam! We'll have people from headquarters all over the place. It's a security sensor, you know. Gotta make sure nobody messes with the evidence. Yeah. Geez, I feel like I'm breaking into the place or something. Get back to headquarters. I'll bet they're trying to get their hands on nukes that went missing after the fall of the USSR. Maybe. How do you plan to get back? We don't have a turbo cycle. Are we going to walk it? Aren't there any taxis or anything around here? Why don't we search the area? There's a taxi over there. The cab is for hire. We've boarded the taxi. Where to, sir? This is a manned cab. I can take you anywhere you want to go. This car has been modified to operate on manual only. Hey, this is a black taxi, you know. Don't be so noisy. Don't be so nosy. His face is concealed. Polarizing film has been placed on the rear view mirror. Come on, you know the unspoken rule. Drivers and passengers of black taxis aren't supposed to interfere with each other's business, you know? The driver is of medium height and medium build. Come on, you know the unspoken rule. Yeah. We're on urgent business. Get us to Junker headquarters as quickly as you can. Junker headquarters, eh? What would you want to go there for? Something going down? You can only see the back of his head. Driver's identification is not posted on the dashboard. Is that a Snatcher? Maybe. Is this some kind of joke, sir? You can't be serious. This is a manned taxi, you know? I can't go to the place like that. At all, I think we picked up a weird taxi. Listen, I'm a junker. Take me to Junker headquarters and do it quickly. I'm afraid not. You're gonna go somewhere else. You want to know where it is? Where? Straight to hell. Oh my god! Qin Shuho!
Is he dead?
He's junk now. Stubborn one, wasn't he?
Jeez. He made it through that explosion and was waiting for us out here. If those things ever get control of the city, there's no way we'll ever get it back. We've got to stop them before that.
And to do that, we have to prevent the chief from getting to the Kyoto summit.
I know. And I have to pay back my debt to Random.
Let's use this taxi to get back to Junker headquarters.
I planned on it. I just hope Mika and Harry are safe.
We've arrived at Junker headquarters. I hope Mika and Harry are safe. Alright, Metal, this is it. The final showdown. Are you ready? Now entering headquarters. This is the lobby. The shutter on the reception booth is closed. Surface of the shutter shows evidence of having been struck by fire from an energy weapon. Read motion, something's in the booth. Gillian, we have to open this somehow. This is a protective shutter for the reception booth. It's automatically lowered in times of danger. There's a few holes in the shield, and no doubt caused by blaster or cannon fire. Cannon? Then it's Snatchers. It's been locked from the inside. The only way to open it is from inside the booth. Can't this be opened from the outside? If it had an emergency external connection port, then it could be opened from the outside. We have to look for an emergency external connection port. Metal, find this external connection jack. I've located an emergency external connection port on the side of the booth. With this, I should be able to open the shutter. It's USB-C. So headquarters has been put on emergency status. It appears something attacked this place. The shutter on the reception booth is closed. Is Mika still in the booth? Plugging into the emergency external connection port. Releasing lock mechanism.
All right, I'm going to open it, but please use extreme caution. Anything could be inside.
Oh no! Mika!
Mika! Mika, are you all right? Metal, how is she?
Her pulse is normal. The only external injuries are to her forehead, and they are not serious. There's been no significant blood loss.
Mika, come on, snap out of it. It's me, Gillian.
Gillian? Gillian.
Mika, what happened?
Gillian, the chief. The chief is a Snatcher.
So he's finally shown his true colors.
Harry's...
What's happened to Harry?
Harry put me in the pod and sealed the main door. He locked the Snatcher in.
That was smart. Not even a Snatcher can get through this shield.
So where's Harry?
He said keep the door sealed no matter what happens in there. And then he went in. Gillian, please help him.
Harry! Mika, open the door. I'm going in. Metal, we're going in. Be careful. That Snatcher could be hiding anywhere.
Yes, sir.
Gillian, please be careful. The chief is very cunning. Don't let your guard down.
Don't worry. I'll watch myself in there.
We're in the main hallway. What's this? Someone's down. That hat, Harry! Oh no.
Harry!
Oh, Gillian, is that you? I'm getting old. Just look at me.
What happened?
I saw the chief messing with your turbo cycle. And that... weird picture in his office.
Metal, how is he? Metal!
I do not wish to say.
Really that bad, huh?
Gillian, when I confronted him about what I saw, he showed me what he really was. I was barely able to even scratch him.
That's enough, Harry. I understand. Metal, is there anything we can do for him?
Gillian, I'm sorry.
Harry, you'll be okay. It doesn't look like you're hurting too bad. This'll work out perfect. You always were working too hard anyway. Why don't you take a nice long vacation somewhere and rest up?
Yeah, sure. Nice try, Gillian, but it's my body. I know I ain't gonna make it. You were a good kid, Gillian.
Harry!
I don't know how to say this right, but I've always had a special feeling about you. I've always had trouble talking to people since I was little, like my father. What I can remember of him.
Pulse and blood pressure falling.
Harry, hang in there. You and I were gonna go out and tie one on, remember?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. You, me, and Jean, the three of us.
But John is...
Metal, quiet!
Gillian, I've lived my life alone. I didn't know my parents or family. Always so stubborn, glued to my research. I never really trusted anybody. That was a mistake.
Oh no!
continuing to fall.
Harry?
Coffin of blood?
After Jean died, I felt it. Human warmth, companionship.
I know what you mean.
Gillian, I just wanted to get along with everybody. I don't need no Nobel Prize. For 50 years, I've been searching, trying to find something I lost. Looks like I'll never find it now.
Gillian, he's about...
Looks like I've been talking too much. It's up to you now, Gillian. I'm finished. You won't forget this, old grouch, will you?
Harry!
Gillian, you've got to believe in yourself. You're the last junker.
Harry! Harry!
No!
Pupils are dilated.
Cunningham! No! Snatcher! I'll get you for this!
We have no time for grieving. That Snatcher is still hiding somewhere here in headquarters.
Metal, listen to me. If that Snatcher gets me, you've got to take Mika and run. Then you've got to blow up Junker headquarters. Blow it sky high! You understand me?
Yes, sir. I just hope it doesn't come to that. So, where should we start our search?
Mendoza! Chief's office. No movement. Don't see the Snatcher. Under the sofa? Nothing here. Under the desk? Nothing here. Outside the window? No snatchers. Detective. Don't see snatchers. At the locker? No snatcher. Desk? No snatcher. Our desk? Nothing here. No motion. Shooting range? Any motion? No snatcher. It's hiding in here. Nothing here. At the booth? Nothing here. Above the booth? No snatchers. Engineering? Snatcher doesn't seem to be around. Any motion? No motion. Are you ready? No snatchers. Under the work table? No snatchers. Under the desk? No snatchers. Computer? No snatcher. Under the desk? No snatcher. Where could he be? Hallway? Checked all the rooms. Where could he be? Wait here a little longer, Harry. I'll get the bastard. Something on the desk. Blood? What kind of stain? There's no stain like this a moment ago. It's blood. Blood is dripping from the ceiling. Oh my God! Cunningham!
The lighting control system has been destroyed. Distance to motion readings increasing.
Is he trying to run?
Motion readings have vanished.
You got past me this time, Snatcher.
Headquarters emergency lighting has been activated.
Can we find him again?
We should go after him immediately.
We'll find him. We know he's somewhere inside headquarters.
The Snatcher has been wounded. We should look for traces of blood.
Engineering room. No blood. No blood. Wait a minute, the locker's closed. Oh. No blood. Practice? Where could he be? Is he back in the office? Where could he be? Shooting range? He could be anywhere. We checked the hallway? I'm pretty sure we did. Still some rooms we haven't checked. Which ones? We'll just do everything. In the hallway, there's a room front. Never know, but the main door was sealed off.
The main door has been opened. Did Mika open it?
Wait, Mika's not in the pod. What happened?
The lighting has been disconnected.
Don't move, Seed.
Cunningham, is that you?
I read motion. He is definitely in here.
Where are you? Show yourself.
I'm right here. I don't need to run or hide from you.
Mika!
Mika!
No, Gillian, don't move. It's a trap.
A hostage? You cowardly scum! Mika, why did you open the entrance?
I don't know. I was really scared. I mean, the emergency light's coming on so suddenly.
Seed, go ahead and shoot. But you'd better be a pretty good shot, or this kid goes home in a bag.
Shoot, Gillian. Kill this thing. Don't worry about me.
Mika!
What are you going to do?
I have you now, Junker.
Do I have to shoot at the hand?
The Snatcher's functions have been terminated.
Mika, are you all right?
Yes. Yes, I think so. Thank you.
Harry? I got him. Random? Sorry it took so long, but this ought to make us even.
Junker? You may have stopped me, but it's not over yet.
Gillian, this is just residual energy feedback. Its power levels are dropping rapidly.
Crane's hospital was nothing more than a maintenance facility. We have comrades operating throughout the city, more than you can imagine. Now our plans will move into phase 2. For that we will enlist the help of Professor Lorraine. Your existence is meaningless, as long as you don't get your memory back. Good luck, Junker.
Your memory back?
My memory? Comrades? Professor Lorraine?
Harry. Why? Please tell me. Why do so many good people have to die?
Mika.
This is all wrong.
Mika, don't worry. I won't let anybody else die. I've made a promise to Harry and Random. But the city is still full of Snatchers. This fight is just beginning.
Snatcher 2?
Gillian, I have an urgent video call from Jamie. I'll connect you.
Gillian, I've got my memory back. I remember everything.
Your memory? So what about us, Jamie? Who are we?
Gillian, it's terrible. What we've done.
Jamie, what's wrong?
I can't tell you something like this over the video phone. I would have been better off never remembering.
Okay, Jamie, calm down. I'll head out right now. Where are you? Is it snowing?
I'm sorry, Gillian. I can't tell you. They've taken our boy hostage.
Our boy? Who?
Professor Modner is here too.
Jamie, what are you talking about?
I'm so sorry.
Snatcher!
Gillian!
We have Professor Lorraine. We only require her cooperation for a short period here at the Kremlin.
The Kremlin?
I suggest you avoid doing anything foolish. Professor Seed.
Professor Seed? Are we a relative of Professor Oak? Yes, all professors are relatives.
With the start of this year's Kyoto Summit just 3 hours away, the delegates from the participating countries are beginning to arrive at the conference center. A major poll of domestic and international opinion, carried out just last week, shows that the vast majority of respondents favor a complete quarantine of Neo Kobe as a means to combat the risk of the Snatcher menace.
Now that the Chief's death has been confirmed, it won't be long before they strip us of our Junker authorization.
They will be deciding how to handle Neo Kobe at the summit in just 3 hours.
There are rumors that they're going to use nukes on the city to make sure the Snatchers are wiped out.
That's ridiculous. Come on, this is the 21st century.
That may not be as improbable as it seems. The world's leaders are extremely concerned about the Snatcher problem.
The Chief was going to calm this hysteria in his speech at the summit, but that'll never happen now.
3 months ago, government pressure on Junker operations increased dramatically. Gillian's transfer here was really our last chance.
Our own chief was snatched. It's not too surprising they don't want to trust us anymore.
I've heard that the Army and FBI are going to take over operations now.
That's correct. That too will be officially decided in 3 hours' time.
3 hours, eh? Is there any way we can find their hideout in that time?
If we don't, we and everybody else in this city are finished.
As far as they're concerned, we're just like a cancerous tumor that has to be cut out.
We have to hit the Snatchers' headquarters before then.
Gillian, can you do it?
If we only knew where it was, I should be able to manage something.
Hitting their outposts like Queen's Hospital won't do any good. We have to find their main nerve center.
What about the memory of that Snatcher who was impersonating the chief?
Just like the others, it was completely blanked. It's a form of self-destruct mechanism that they use.
Wait a minute. Metal, what about tracing that video phone call from Jamie?
It was no good. The call didn't last long enough. Still, it definitely did come from within the city.
Damn. Where are they hiding?
Gillian, can't you remember anything at all? Didn't Jamie say something that implied you were somehow connected to the Snatchers?
Nothing. I can't remember a damn thing. Metal, I want you to tell me everything you know about me. Why was I sent to Junker headquarters? Where did I come from?
Gillian...
Metal, the chief's dead. Tell me everything you know about me.
Well, you see...
Metal!
All right. With the chief gone, you are the highest-ranking officer here.
You knew all along?
Of course.
Where were we rescued from?
3 years ago, you and Jamie were taken into protective custody in the Siberian Neutral Zone by the 17th Siberian Investigative Force. More precisely, you were discovered in cryogenic sleep pods in an underground bunker near Moscow.
What?
Sleep pods? You mean they were frozen?
This is a photograph of the bunker. There is no record of when you were placed there. In addition, the third pod was empty at the time you were discovered.
There were 3 pods?
You were revived and taken into custody by the Army. Apparently, as a result of the extended sleep, both of you suffered from complete amnesia. However, another theory suggests your memories may have been intentionally erased. This is the only piece of evidence found at the site.
That's Harry's picture, from when he was a kid.
That's correct. Harry is Gillian and Jamie's son.
What?
Confirmed by DNA tests.
Harry? Harry was my son?
Using the information gained from the photo, it was established that you are Gillian Seed, and your wife, Jamie Lorraine. Both of you are American citizens, born in the late 1960s.
The 1960s?
We're American?
Both of you vanished without a trace in 1989. There is no other information available about you after that.
1989?
Yes, you come from a world that's been gone for 50 years.
But what does that have to do with the Snatchers?
When the 17th Special Investigative Force was bringing the two of you out, there was an accident. Though the two of you were all right, most of the 17th was killed. One of them was a Snatcher. Of course, before their departure, they all underwent thorough examinations. So, if one of them was snatched...
It had to be somewhere in Siberia, right?
That's correct. And in order to attempt to determine the origin of the Snatcher, as well as your true identities, you were assigned to Junker headquarters. The hope was that exposure to the Snatchers would help you regain your memories.
Moscow? 50 years ago?
Almost everyone who was in Moscow at the time was killed in the catastrophe.
So Gillian and Jamie are the only living witnesses?
Harry was my son. Did he know?
No. It was highly classified information. He was never told.
I was never able to do anything for him.
Wait a minute, Gillian. Didn't Jamie say something about taking a boy hostage?
That's right. They must know about Harry and are using him to threaten her.
We have to find their headquarters quickly.
We've only got 3 hours.
Gillian, let's think this all through again. We may get some kind of a hint out of it.
You're right. There may be some clue in the way they're operating.
All right. Let's go over what we know about them.
First of all, what is the Snatcher's weak point? Ultraviolet rays. Weak point is their defective artificial skin. Long-term exposure to ultraviolet rays cause mutations in the melanocytes in the stratum basal of their skin, which becomes cancerous. Specifically, long ultraviolet rays in the 250 to 350 nanometer range is responsible for causing the cancer. That's right. And that's the reason that they are so limited as to when they can be out. They can only come out at night in the middle of winter and wear sunscreen even then. That's the method that John used to figure out what the Snatchers were up to. How ironic. It turns out the destruction of the ozone layer actually had a benefit for us humans. That's right. What method were they using to move and be able to avoid ultraviolet rays and sunlight at the same time? Well, there's a bunch of things. The underpass, the black taxis. I'm gonna try an underpass. That's right, they were using the abandoned tunnels of the old tube liner system to get from place to place. That's how they were able to move around but without being noticed. Nielsen's apartment, the old factory, Queen's Hospital, all of their hideouts were connected by the tube liner. So maybe there's a tunnel under their main base as well? There's a good chance of that. What phenomenon was always observed at any location where Snatchers appeared, including in the underground tunnels? Well, that's the sneeze. Achoo! That's right. And what is the cause of the sneezing? Cloud 9. You are correct. The sneezing was caused by the presence of the allergen Snow 9. Snow 9 is an artificial form of pollen developed by the military, and its presence is limited to certain regions. They were using it to interfere with radio transmissions and kept and keep people away. They probably were producing it intentionally themselves. The only regions of the city where Snow 9 is still present are areas around the Ina River. It has been cleared out of other areas because of the danger it presents. That means that their base must be near the Ina River, right? That's a fair conclusion. They're probably somewhere near the Ina River, protected by the Snow 9. Accessible to the tube liner near the Ina River. And we must not forget the 3 photographs that we found the Snatchers with. All of them were related to the Soviet Union before the catastrophe. Map, picture, the red square. Why do the Snatchers keep pictures and memorabilia like this? Maybe they're homesick? Maybe that's where they come from. Homesick? Get serious, Mika. The robots, you know? What city is related to all 3 of these pictures? Tokyo. Moscow. Cow Air. Moscow must be where they come from. That's must be the basis of their programming. You might be right. Just as people have a hometown that is dear to them, their creators may have put a hometown into their programming. They use very advanced artificial intelligence systems, so they may have needed something like that to maintain their emotional balance. Yeah, they were born out of nothing, so they needed to give them some kind of image as an emotional base. So Moscow is their creator and their home. And the place they found Jamie and I.
In other words, this homing instinct thing of theirs has led them to set up their headquarters in some place that reminds them of home, or their creator.
What part of this city is like Moscow?
Moscow's really cold, right? They get a lot of snow, don't they?
Snow?
No
Snow 9!
in Neo Kobe in several years.
Well, then that's not it.
Wait, what about that pollen? That crystal bioengineered stuff, Snow 9?
Now that you mention it, wasn't it snowing on Jamie's video phone call?
That's right. Their hideout has to be somewhere close to the Ina River.
The Ina River flows for miles around here, Gillian. We could never search it all in time.
Gillian, let's look at a map of the areas investigated so far. This is an enlarged view of the southwest portion of the city around the Ina River. This blue area is that in which Snow 9 is present. Now I'll superimpose a chart of the abandoned tube liner tunnels. From this we can establish those areas with Snow 9, which are accessible by subway tunnel.
Damn. Nice try, but it's still too large. We could never cover it in 3 hours.
Don't give up so fast, Gillian. What about that image of home thing we were talking about? Maybe there's some kind of geographic similarity. Maybe the same view can be seen or something.
I'll display a map of Moscow alongside.
What's this?
Look, the rivers are exactly the same shape.
What?
This is the Moscow River over here.
It looks like we're on the right track, Metal. Show us the location that Jamie and I were picked up from.
All right, right here.
Metal, before the catastrophe, what was at this location?
The headquarters for the entire Soviet Union, the Kremlin.
The Kremlin? That Snatcher said something about taking Jamie to their Kremlin.
Metal, what spot in Neo Kobe would match up with the location of Moscow's Kremlin?
Calculating. This is the spot. It's presently occupied by an old church. It's rather large, but reports indicate it's been abandoned for nearly 20 years.
And it's right in the middle of the Snow 9 and subway area.
That's it! That's their headquarters, their new Kremlin.
Gillian, let's go!
Wait, Gillian.
I want to go with you.
Sorry, Mika.
Hey, I'm a junker too, you know.
I know, and you're a great one at that.
So take me with you then.
You head to the summit to warn the delegates. They haven't given up, you know.
The summit's in Kyoto. I'm not going to be the only one to run.
You've got to convince them not to use nukes on Neo Kobe.
We found their hideout. There's no need now to sink the whole island.
Yes, but...
It's a tough job. Can you do it?
Okay, Gillian. I'll do what I can.
Thanks. Thank you, Mika.
Don't say it, okay?
Let's go, Gillian.
Gillian?
Yes? What's wrong?
How about dinner sometime?
Dinner?
Yeah, you know, dinner.
Mika.
Not interested. I thought it would be nice, you know, to kick back, relax. It's Christmas after all.
Christmas, huh? I'll be back by then.
Gillian, we have to hurry.
That's a promise, right? I heard you.
Yeah, okay. But I gotta go to church first.
I'll see you soon then.
Okay, Metal, let's go.
The last turbo cycle. Not been tampered with. Parking lot has been a lot lonelier. Take me to church.
Put the map data on the Kremlin's locations. Lift off. Flight configuration, now gaining altitude.
Jamie, please be safe.
Gillian, please keep in mind that we're working with a strict time limit.
A 50-year debt in 3 hours. Snow!
Snow 9, to be specific. We've entered the Snow 9 region. Please put on your breathing filter. Direct inhalation is dangerous.
All right.
Radio transmissions will also be impossible from this point on. Understood? Now descending. Conversion to hover configuration complete. Gillian, we've arrived.
We've arrived at the church. Wow, now I know why they call it the Kremlin. Building's about 50 years old, but appears to be well maintained. So where's the entrance? On the front side. Only the wind. A very old church. It bears quite the resemblance to the St. Basil's Cathedral. No doubt they thought the same thing. It appears to be snow, but it's actually Snow 9. Try to avoid inhaling any of it directly. Surrounded by a large grove of tall cedar trees. This is likely to keep just about anybody away. Given the season, a few Christmas lights would really liven up the scene. Definitely Snow 9. Sensor scan reveals that a tube-liner tunnel passes directly underneath this area. Looks like we got the right place.
All right, now opening the door.
What's wrong? Won't open?
I've scanned it, and it's not locked. It is probably rusted into place.
Not surprising. After all, our friends always go in and out through the basement.
Let's push it together.
All right. 1, 2, 3!
That got it.
When did we go to Russia? No, we're not in Russia. We're in Neo Kobe. What's this? It would appear to be some kind of chapel for the Snatchers. Are you telling me those things pray? To whom? No doubt to their creator. That's a portrait on the wall. That portrait on the wall is probably a representation of him. This person is no doubt one of the Snatchers. No, it is no doubt the one the Snatchers worship as their creator. This guy, isn't that random? One moment, I'll compare the picture on my date with my data on random. While the facial bone structure of the individual in the portrait is nearly identical of that of random, a positive identification is impossible as the picture is not a photograph. That looks too much like him to be a coincidence. Everything is nice and orderly. It's as if the pre-collapsed Soviet Union has been recreated here. Something is written on the painting. The creator, Modnar. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Modnar? What's Modnar backwards? That's right. It's Goblin. So this is Professor Modnar? The one that the Snatcher was talking about? It appears to be a portrait of that person. There's a number of scratches on the surface. They were caused by the Snatchers. So very organized, almost inhumanly so. There's another room further back. Have they already left for the summit? Oh my God! So Snatchers! Look at them all. I'm not picking up any energy readings. They're all deactivated in some kind of suspension mode. So this is their warehouse. There must be a few hundred of them here. They continue all the way back. They look like a factory to me. These are the endostructures which have yet to have the artificial skin installed. The bone sizing devices and skull slits are all still set for the smallest sizes. So their victims haven't been chosen yet. They're all just waiting their turn. They almost look as if they could spring to life at any moment. If this many Snatchers were all to start moving at the same time, there's little we could do. Seems to be a number of containers stacked. All quiet. None of these Snatchers appear damaged. All they need is their energy packs. The gender units have yet to be installed, however. Preserved in excellent condition, it appears that they undergo regular maintenance. I don't see any tools or equipment for maintaining anything in the area. This room would appear to be just a storage room. Some kind of label here. 23rd Siberian Investigative Force. Siberian Investigative Force? It would appear that these snatchers were brought to Neo Kobe in the Siberian Neutral Zone. It appears that the investigative forces have been responsible for shipping the snatchers. In other words, the investigative forces have been snatched, just like when they found us. I see, so the Siberian investigative forces bring the snatchers out of Siberia and into storage here. I think you're right, Metal. And then the snatchers just wait here in storage just to be reactivated and adjusted after their victims are selected. A rather efficient system. I wonder where the actual snatching takes place. The back part of this room may hold the answer to that question. You seem to have a problem with the writing there, Mike. What? Pods? The Snatcher's culturing room. The mechanism is operating. Alien, there are Snatchers with their artificial skin already installed here.
This is where they fuse the artificial skin onto the Snatcher's endostructure. First, they adjust the size of the still skinless Snatcher to the size of the individual who is to be snatched. The Snatcher's overall shape and size can be adjusted by expansion or contraction of sizing rods. Their sex is controlled by gender units, which are installed at this point. Then, the face is modified to match the intended victim by adjusting the size of the upper and lower jaw, cheekbones, temporal bones, and tooth alignment.
Just like Gibson said, that means there are limits to the size of the people that they can snatch.
That's right. The limits of the mechanism mean that they can't snatch children, the elderly, or people who are very tall or heavy. And this is where the artificial muscles attach.
Is it organic?
No. It appears to be coated with a type of plastic gel capable of mechanical response. Like human muscles, it creates mechanical energy through chemical reactions. And this is where the artificial skin is attached. In order to prevent the synthetic cells, developed using biotechnological protein design techniques, from rejecting the inorganic material below, they attach it gradually over a number of days.
And this is the stuff that gets cancer if they stay out in the sun too long.
Finally, they attach body and scalp hair. The process involves transplant of synthetic hair follicles as well, so the hair will grow back if it's lost.
What about scars or birthmarks?
It would appear that they make those adjustments at this point in the process, as they would for wrinkles to simulate age.
Yeah, it's very convenient. This may turn out to be the last time we ever save anything. Oh, are we near the end? Computer terminal is installed on each preservation cylinder. It appears that weak ultraviolet rays are being projected from above. This is really advanced, way beyond anything we saw at Queen's Hospital. Is this how robots are born? Maybe. The whole area is protected as a clean room. There's a door at the far end of the room. Power is on. Look at this, Gillian. The data of people to be snatched is all being neatly processed. This is the data which they use to generate the artificial skin with. It's locked, but I should be able to open it from this side. It's said so it cannot be opened from the inside. This is very sophisticated equipment. I'm surprised at the advanced level of the facility they have constructed. Wonder where they're getting their funding from. They're probably supplying their financial backers with snatchers as well.
So this is where the whole thing begins. The endostructures arrive here from the Kremlin, then they convert them into copies of their victims, and finally, they head out into the city using the old subway system.
With artificial skin maintenance being handled at Queen's Hospital.
But who's behind all this?
Gillian, look at this. There are some finished snatchers over here.
Get a load of this. The U.S. President, the Prime Ministers of Japan, and the UK.
What?
Gillian, you're in here too.
Figures. They were looking to snatch every VIP at the summit.
And the last junker, you. It definitely looks like they plan on moving out beyond Neo-Kobe.
If they were to snatch every major world leader, they'd practically be able to control the planet. Still, that's odd. With their flawed skin, pulling something off like that would really be difficult.
Chin said they had found the key to developing a perfect artificial skin. Maybe they've already produced it.
No idea. But the number of snatchers here makes it clear that they're up to something new.
Gillian, this is definitely their nest. We should destroy everything.
Not yet. Not until we found Jamie. Metal, how much time do we have left?
The summit should have begun by now. We don't have much time. And once our legal privileges are suspended, I won't be able to help. In fact, I'll be forced to restrain you.
I know. The military wants to avoid nukes and goes for a surgical strike on this facility. What would they likely use?
Probably a phased particle beam from one of the attack satellites.
A phased particle beam, huh? That'll wipe this complex right off the map.
Everything, including the soil, will simply evaporate. The attack will leave just a large crater.
Metal, can you convince them to give me another hour? Even 30 minutes will help.
Understood. I'll try my best.
And I'll try to find and rescue Jamie in that time.
I can't transmit here due to interference from the Snow 9. I'll have to leave the area and then send the message.
All right. Do it, Metal.
Gillian, don't forget. 30 minutes. You must get out before then.
I understand.
Gillian, I'm sorry I couldn't help you better.
Don't worry about it. I'll be able to move faster by myself anyway. 30 minutes should be plenty. Go, Metal.
No saving?
Don't forget. 30 minutes.
"30 minutes? Oh, this is gonna be tight. That room's the only place left to check. Let's take a look.
What are these grasshoppers? Okay, game. Sometimes it doesn't want to shoot. Oh no, I'm dying. I'm definitely dying. Oh, game over. No! I am pressing. It eats my input. Like, I had to press twice there. Okay, it chewed up my input there. Again.
Whew. I wasn't ready for that. They almost got me. All right, let's open the next door.
Save state? Okay. So we don't have to do it again? I'm down with that. I'm down with that.
Doesn't look like there's anything here. Whoa!
More? Surprise! They just slide in.
Jeez, these guys are tough. Of course, I didn't exactly expect them to welcome me with open arms. Okay, let's try this next door. Jamie, are you all right?
Gillian, you came for me.
Are you hurt?
No, they won't lay a finger on me. Not until the new artificial skin is completed anyway.
Artificial skin research? You?
Gillian, I've got my memory back. All of it.
What happened? Tell me, Jamie.
They said they'd kill him. They said they'd kill Harry. They forced me. I had to help them with the skin development. They said I had to help them because the professor was ill. Wasn't getting any better. Gillian, the engineer Harry, he's our son. He's been living on his own now for 50 years.
Jamie, I'm afraid that Harry's...
There was nothing I could do. They forced me. But I can't do it anymore.
Jamie!
The professor, he just died. He was over 100.
The professor? What? This old man?
Don't you remember? It's Professor Modner. Professor Petrovich Modner.
What? This old man is Modner?
He's been confined here for 3 years now, just to develop the Snatcher's artificial skin. Terrible. Doing that to your own father.
Whose father? Jamie, I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
You really can't remember, can you?
Jamie, tell me. Tell me who I am. What were we doing at the Kremlin?
Are you sure you really want me to, Gillian? It's all so awful, but if you must know, I'll tell you. Try to remain calm, okay? 56 years ago, you and I were involved in a top-secret Soviet project. It was still during the time of the Cold War. The gulf between East and West was as wide as ever. Everybody was worried about nukes. At that point, the world's armies were at their largest ever. Leaders still believed that a strong military meant a strong nation. There were rumors that there would be an agreement to end the production of nuclear weapons. On the other hand, the major powers like the US began to get involved in a space weapons race. But not the Soviets. The conservative despots in the Kremlin had another, completely different idea for gaining military superiority. A horrible plan, something no one else would think of. At that time, the countries of the communist bloc were facing an economic crisis. Popular movements pushing for democracy were springing up all over. Communism itself was facing extinction. Facing pressure from the reformers, the Kremlin began to panic. And that's when that horrible, childish plan was launched.
And that was the Snatcher project. Replace your enemy's leaders with puppets of your own. Then you control their governments, their economies, take over a country from the inside out.
That's right, Gillian. And to develop these robots, they assembled some of the most brilliant scientific minds from around the world. Some of them were even brought in against their will. At the crux of that development effort was a group called the Frankenstein Project Team. You and I were members of that team, Gillian. It was a 4-person team led by the late Professor Modner here. The robotics expert was Professor Modner himself. His son, Elijah Modner, handled genetics and microbiology. For nanobiology and picobiology, myself. And for behavioral science and psychology, you, Gillian.
What?
Early development was carried out at a lab in Novosibirsk, but was later moved to a secret facility under the Kremlin. At the time, the Glasnost and Perestroika movements were gaining momentum, and they rightly feared for the existence of the program if it should become known. But some of the reformers did learn of the project, and they conspired with the US to block it. Gillian, you were a CIA special agent sent by the United States to infiltrate and sabotage the project.
We were CIA?
Yes, and the government knows that. That's why you were assigned to the Junker team.
What? Who am I?
Work on the project continued to go smoothly. But then, on June 6th, 1996, there was that accident. A mysterious explosion at the Chernobyl facility spread a bacterial weapon that was under development there into the atmosphere, destroying the country and the project. Gillian, was it you? Did you set off that explosion?
What? You can't be serious. You think I caused the catastrophe?
Somehow, during the confusion, Professor Modner and our son Harry managed to get picked up by American agents. But we couldn't get out in time, you and I and Elijah. In a shelter below the Kremlin, we entered a cryogenic sleep. Our plan was to sleep there until the toxic effects of the bacteria were safely passed.
And then 48 years later, 3 years ago, we were discovered by the 17th Special Investigative Force.
Yes, but when they found us, Elijah's pod was already empty.
Elijah Modner? That guy whose picture was in the church? The one that looks like Random?
That's right, Elijah is alive! Elijah is here and working on the Snatchers.
Why don't you let me finish your little story?
What?
Who's there?
It's been a while, hasn't it, Jamie? Ah, yes. And Gillian. It's me, Jamie.
Elijah? Is that really you?
Random? No, not quite.
So you remember me, do you? I am Elijah Modnar, the only son of Professor Petrovich Modnar. I'm afraid I've grown somewhat old and feeble since we last met, however.
Elijah, why are you doing this? Your father, Professor Modner, he passed away a few minutes ago.
What? My father? My father is dead?
Elijah, what happened to you? The Elijah I knew could never do anything like this.
I've changed, Jamie. These 40 years have changed me.
I can't believe it. What happened to you?
What happened to me? Jamie, do I actually have to explain it to you? Jamie, it's you. Your beauty is the cause of all that has come to pass here. 57 years ago, I was obsessed. With my research, yes. And with you, Jamie. At the time, I was still young, having just graduated with my genetic engineering degree. My father's connections got me on the team, and there, I met you. You were working as my father's assistant. Your beauty, your smile, I was stricken. I saw something in you that I never felt.
We did NTR the villain.
You warmed my cold, young heart, Jamie. You opened me up, and I couldn't stop my feelings.
Elijah.
Oh, I was so happy. The political situation was crumbling around us, but every day was a joy. I gained my father's trust, and with you there watching over me, I was able to work as hard as I ever have on the project.
What NTR does to a man.
However, my happiness did not last for long. Gillian, it was you. You showed up and all was ruined. You arrived and joined our project team. Far from home, Jamie found comfort in a man from the same land. Your relationship grew quickly, and all I could do was stand by and watch. Jamie and Gillian fell in love.
Look at his, so bad.
Even had a child.
Harry.
Even then, my feelings for you only grew stronger. Worried about me, my father tried to have me removed from the project, but I persisted. Jamie, I always wanted to be near you. And then, the democratic movements that had consumed the rest of the Eastern Bloc spread to our country as well. The Cold War was over. The hardliners who had pushed for its development were stripped of power and the project was cancelled. The reformers, trying to cover up the existence of such a crazed project, ordered that all materials related to it be destroyed and that we stand trial for our actions. Jamie and Gillian were to be returned to their homeland. That's about the time that I learned that you, Gillian, that you were a CIA agent, and that you were trying to pass documents on our research to your military. The country had sold us out. I'm no politician. I couldn't care less about what happened to the country. All I cared about was my research and Jamie. And I was to lose all of that, everything. For someone so young, you cannot understand how great of a shock that was.
Elijah.
That is when I decided, I swore I would see that secret crazed project through to the end. At the time, the bioroids were 80% finished. The main part, their endostructure, was essentially completed. But we still were having trouble with the artificial skin, the area that Jamie and I were assigned to. We called it artificial skin, but there was of course no need to duplicate T lymphocytes, Langerhans cells, or endocrine cells. All we needed was keratinized cells and melanocytes to provide the pigment. With the artificial protein development techniques that we had in those days, full-scale synthetic cell development was very difficult. Research like this took months, years. The original project called for us to simultaneously snatch an entire country. In other words, a whole nation, or an entire city had to be snatched over the course of one night. For that reason, a powerful biological agent, which could quickly and effectively kill the population of the country, was being simultaneously developed.
Lucifer Alpha.
That's right. A type RAO11 virus which another team was developing. For someone like myself, who was closely involved in the project, Blowing up the lab was quite a simple task.
My God, Elijah, do you know what you're saying? That explosion killed half the world's population.
I moved all the materials and records essential to the Bioroid project into the shelter and executed my plan on June 6th. After sealing off the lab, I brought the two of you with me to the underground shelter and we entered a cryogenic sleep. But not before I programmed an atmospheric research satellite to transmit a wake signal when the danger from Lucifer Alpha had passed.
And 10 years later, Lucifer Alpha naturally mutated into a non-toxic form.
But the automatic revival system failed to work.
Oh no, it worked. Just as planned. It revived me 10 years later. A little sooner than the two of you, of course.
But even though you sealed the lab with the explosion and everything, you should have been exposed. Why weren't you?
Oh, I was. But by that time, the vaccine L Angels had already been developed.
So everything went just as you planned it then?
Yes, up until that point. But my real struggle was yet to come. My original plan was to revive Jamie as well, and for the two of us to finish the development of the Bioroids. You, Gillian, you were to stay asleep forever. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Not after looking at Jamie's peaceful face there in the pod. Besides, I could never have convinced her to work with me on the project anyway. I knew the time was not yet right, so I changed the timers of your pods to permanent on.
How could you do such a thing?
And so for the next 40 years, I worked alone in that cold and lonely room under the Kremlin, trying to complete the artificial skin for the Snatchers. For days and days, no one would visit me. I never saw the sun or felt the changing of the seasons. Still, I always had Jamie by my side. You were always there for me to talk to. Just you and I for 40 years in that dark cellar.
Oh, you poor, poor man.
And then, 3 years ago, my research was finally completed. First, I snatched the Siberian Special Investigative Forces to establish a transport route for the Snatchers. And then, to test the effect of large-scale snatch operations, I chose Neo-Kobe City to be my experimental sample. Neo-Kobe is cut off from the surrounding areas, a sort of miniature country in itself, making it a perfect test site. And since it's a melting pot of various races, it would also allow me to gather extensive data on Snatcher modification and operational techniques. In addition, the element of suspicion or mistrust, which runs deep in Japanese culture, was another reason I chose this site.
But your test revealed a critical flaw in your machine's artificial skin.
Yes, quite unexpected, I'm afraid. All my research for 40 years. I gathered data and worked day and night to find a solution, but nothing seemed to work.
So that's why you decided to bring Professor Modner here, right?
That's correct. I discovered my father in one of the government's hospitals. He was old, but still very sound of mind. Naturally, he would not cooperate with me.
Of course not. He'd never become involved in something like that.
So, unable to receive his assistance, I decided that I had to have yours. But a mistake on my part allowed both you and Gillian to be taken into custody by the authorities first.
Just what are you trying to accomplish, Elijah? You must know you can never get Jamie back.
I'm only interested in discovering what I can of the human animal. In the past, it was because of Jamie. My motive is different now.
It sounds like you're just suffering from the wild arrogance that corrupts so many scientists.
Humans are such weak creatures. No matter how much they trust one another, the tiniest speck of suspicion can destroy it all. Look at how the Snatcher problem has caused such wild unrest. No matter how much science advances or how high we set our ideals, we eventually begin to suspect each other, to hate each other, and then to kill each other.
So deep.
Are nothing more than a tool for bringing out this reaction. I am simply using the Snatchers to elicit the true nature of the human animal. I think this experiment has shown me the limits of human society. I sincerely doubt it will be able to reach any greater level of prosperity on its own. If human society ever hopes to reach greater heights, what is needed is an absolute leader, a firm ruler who is affected by these trivial episodes of mistrust.
You're crazy if you think people would ever obey Snatchers.
Of course they wouldn't. But if they don't know, they cannot object. There has been a time in every age that the people have longed for a god to lead them. As long as they give the people no reason to suspect them, then they can easily become their gods. Indeed, a new race of super beings. We are almost there. Once we perfect the artificial skin, Snatchers will transcend man to become this planet's true human beings.
But you'll never get your perfect skin now. Professor Modner is dead.
I no longer have any use for my father. I have a sample of the new skin he developed. Once I've analyzed it, I'll be able to make as much as I need. Or if need be, we could simply culture the keratinized cells, epithelial cells, and melanocytes in the quantities that we need.
What are you talking about? How could you get a sample of perfected artificial skin?
Why don't you take a look at this?
Well, that is...
We found this in the rubble of Queen's Hospital.
Random! He was a Snatcher?
Oh, an acquaintance of yours?
He's a Snatcher?
That term isn't exactly accurate. This bioroid was constructed by my father without my knowledge. He modeled it after me in my youth. He built it right here in this facility. And not only that, he programmed it to destroy Snatchers. This bioroid caused me serious difficulties. It's designed and built far better than my Snatchers. The machine itself thought it was human. My father input memories for it all the way back to childhood. Those too were apparently mine.
He made a better son.
Random Hajil is Elijah Modner spelled backwards.
What?
How like my father, silly old man. He did virtually overnight what I could not do in 40 years of effort. Furthermore, he makes a bioroid so perfect, even the bioroid itself believes itself to be real. What's more, the cells of the skin he developed are self-replicating. Once in place, no further transplants or culturing is necessary.
Is he dead?
Its main and locomotive systems are completely shut down. It's just scrap now. But the artificial skin is being kept alive. This we need. With this, we can move to phase 2 of our plan of full-scale infiltration of the world's major nations.
The summit's already over. You'll never succeed.
What does the summit matter? Nothing holds us back now that we have this perfect skin. We can go anywhere we want, and there will be no way to tell us apart. I will have free control over the world. Nothing will be able to stop me. Politics and free thought will no longer have any meaning. My will alone will decide the course of human history.
You egomaniac. Do you think you can snatch the entire population?
There's a fully automated Snatcher factory under the Kremlin. Even as we speak, scores of new Snatchers are being born.
But no matter how hard you try, you won't be able to snatch the people's heart and soul. What do you hope to gain from this anyway?
Jamie, the human race is composed of fools. But I am different. I will be its savior. Indeed, not just of mankind, but of all life on the planet.
I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Metal!
What?
In 10 minutes, this church will be struck by a phased particle beam. I am guiding the beam from the attack satellite using GPS and 15 navigational satellites. The beam cannot miss.
Stop this foolishness now. I will not have my research destroyed by some souped-up pocket calculator.
Metal, what happened at the summit?
The delegates, worried about the Snatcher menace, voted unanimously to allow the use of nuclear weapons on the city. The military is presently imposing a quarantine on Neo-Kobe.
What? Do they intend to kill everybody?
The populace is in a state of panic. However, they have agreed to lift the quarantine if this church is struck by the phase particle beam. This is our last chance. I will handle things here. Gillian, Jamie, you two must flee.
You insignificant mass of metal. You'll never...
One move and I detonate. Gillian, run!
Metal, this is crazy!
We can't let a single Snatcher get out of here. And this new artificial skin has to be destroyed as well.
I will not allow some talking scrap pile to get away with this. If you were the aiming point for the beam, then I'll just have you thrown out of here. Grab this little one and take him out of here.
Oh no! Gonna get snatched! The boys have arrived.
Metal!
Cowardly little robot.
You always were a real pain in the butt.
What? Is that random?
What's that?
What? How did... You're supposed to be deactivated.
I don't go down that easy, old man.
Stop this foolish...
Shut up! Let's try to make our final moments peaceful, shall we? And you Snatchers, you touch the little guy and the old man's head comes off.
Random!
I've always hated being used. Why don't you watch the final act with me?
Gillian, you only have 5 minutes. The turbo cycle is just outside on standby. Use that to flee.
Let me go. I'm Elijah Modner. I'm your original.
I don't care if I'm an original or a copy or what. You and I are gonna die right here. If we both die, there won't be a copy anymore now, will there?
The stupid logic of a simpleton, of a machine.
Whatever it is, it's my will!
Machines have no will. Machines cannot sacrifice themselves.
We'll see about that.
You have 4 minutes. You must go.
Why are we staying here?
Under the Kremlin.
Stop!
Gillian, even if these memories in my head are fiction...
Yeah, I know what you mean. Our memories of our time together are all too real, Random.
Gillian, you become one hell of a junker.
Gillian, it has been most recreational being your partner.
Oh, Metal!
If you can, try to pick up the pieces for me, okay? Like we did for Little John?
Little John? Oh! Okay, Metal.
Hurry! You only have 3 minutes!
Thanks! Thanks, you two! Jamie, come on!
I hope I don't have to fight. I hope it's just cutscenes till the end.
No! Don't let her go! No!
You pathetic old fool! You don't even know how to love someone.
You stupid machine! What is that idiotic grin supposed to mean?
By snatching you, I'm finally gonna get my real self back.
Random, there's less than 1 minute to go. Thanks to you, everything will be fine.
You don't owe me any thanks. Sorry to get you involved in such a big job. You did great. You're a hell of a junker.
3, 2, 1, here it comes!
Later, kid!
Oh my god! Ion cannon ready. They nuked the city?
7th Mechanized Infantry Team has completed boarding. 17th Special Engineering Squad report for boarding immediately.
So you're really going, aren't you?
It's our responsibility, too. Besides, if I go to Moscow, I may get some of my memory back. And if that happens, I'll be able to love you even more than I do now. Wait for me. I want to be with you, but first I've got to destroy this terrible factory of theirs. Jamie, when I get back, let's try living together again. What do you say?
13th Special Operations Squad and all Junker personnel report immediately for departure.
She's waiting.
We'll be waiting for you too.
Katrina! Mika! You're here too?
You better be happy, Buster, with all these beautiful women seeing you off.
I'm happy you came. Let me introduce my wife.
Jamie Seed. I suppose it's a little odd introducing myself a second time, though.
What do you mean? You've never met them before, have you?
What are you talking about, Gillian? We're good friends.
Huh? Since when?
It's the first time I've met her in person, but I've spoken with her on the video phone a lot of times.
What? Have you guys been talking about me behind my back?
Talk. Look. This isn't what it seems like, all right? Oh, my controller. Trying to learn more about you was what got our relationship started. I was telling Mika about how lonely it was being home alone all the time, and she told me that Jamie was always worried about me. So I gave her a video phone call. Before I knew it, we became really close. Even with Alice gone, I was really lonely. Katrina. I'm really sorry for all the worry I've caused you. This kid has such a rough time. She lost almost everything practically overnight. She's done a really great job. I owe her a lot of thanks. They're both so easy to talk to. It's like I've got two real sisters now. Our relationship has gone beyond just being friends. Hey, yo. Hold up. Beyond just friends? Huh. That sounds pretty good to me. They're just like family to me now. I don't care if you get your memory back or not. Why? Because getting your memory back will mean that you'll remember all those things about me you hated. Things I hated? What are you talking about? Dealing with each other's imperfections is part of what being married is all about, Jamie. Gillian, don't worry. No memories will change how I feel about you. Thank you, Gillian. It's good to hear you say that.
So have they finalized what they're going to do about Junker operations? I suppose this will end up being our last mission, huh?
Well, originally they were planning on disbanding the team, but now they've decided to keep us in business.
So that means...
That's right. We've been designated as one of the government's special police divisions. That puts us above the regular cops.
So the government has decided that crime by machines poses a bigger threat than crime by humans from here on out, huh?
They've chosen the new chief, too. So when you get back, you'll get to meet the new head honcho.
Well, it's comforting to know I've got a place I can come back to.
Have a safe trip, Second Lieutenant Seed. I'm a second lieutenant as well, so let's try to work well together when you get back. But I'm a second lieutenant. How come my rank is even lower than what I had in the army?
Whatever you do, just come home safe, okay?
When you get back from this job, you still have a dinner date to keep with me, you know.
My wife's right there.
Forget my promises to either of you. Oops, almost forgot. Of course, I'll want to spend some private moments with my wife, too, huh? What's wrong, Jamie?
I'm a Snatcher.
Harry and I will be waiting for you to get home.
That's Harry's hat.
We can do it this time, Gillian. Not some fake couple like before, but with love and trust.
I know, Jamie.
Take care, Gillian.
I'll see you, Jamie.
Wait! Wait for me! Take me with you, please!
You?
Is that Sega 32X?
We didn't have a good frame to work with, so this is just a temporary body. Just call me Metal Gear, Sega CD for now.
So they found your memory chip in one piece, eh?
Random protected it from the blast of the beam.
Random, huh? Wait a second. I've heard that sneeze somewhere before.
Really? I didn't hear anything. Anyway, I want to know if you'll take me with you. Please, Gillian, please take me with you.
Hurry up and get on board, partner.
Yes, sir, Gillian.
Throughout history,
suspicion has always bred conflict. The real conflict, though, resides in people's hearts.
So deep.
This conflict has just begun.
Begun. Pulls out a gun. Hey! We did it! I thought the conflict was the Snatchers killing people. The real Snatchers were the humans. Snatching the souls of everyone around them. Did you resolve the snatch in my heart? No. All right, well, that was fun. That was Snatcher for the Sega CD. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm glad we finished it today. Just before Christmas too. Our only Christmas game. So what's next? Next we have 40K Martyr. I'm sure you guys are very excited for that. All right, we'll let the credits roll, and then we'll let the video go on break, and then we'll segue into a Martyr. Favorite Snatcher moment? Ooh, that's a good question. Is it Metal Gear strapped with bombs? Is it the time when all three girls said they were fine with a harem? Ramen guy. No ramen minigame, no karaoke. No mahjong. All right, that's it. Is there any epilogue? Probably not. All right, so we're gonna take a small break, and then we'll be back with some 40K Martyr after the break. So stay tuned.